Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Yvonne and you are on a Ginger Chick Rehab. If you are new here, do I have a good video for you today? Sometimes when you're at thrift stores, garage sales, wherever you find your secondhand treasures in the wild, I run across cute little critters that I just can't pass up. So in today's video, I am sharing five makeovers of these adorable little critters. So we're going to start off this video making over this wooden rocking horse. Now, yes, it's much smaller than you thought by the picture. So I'm going to have to protect that tail. I'm not going to do too much with the tail. It's in pretty good condition, but the more you pull on it, the more the tail will come out. So all I'm going to do is just tape it off to protect it. Now this wood has been stained to be pretty dark, not a lot of top coat on here, minimal. So I'm going to go ahead and spray a couple coats of shellac to seal that stain in to prevent my paint from turning colors. After my shellac is dry, I'm going to go ahead and with some Fusion Little Lamb, it is a beautiful color gray, almost like a cement color. So I want to give this a undertone with that brown and an undertone with the cement. The cement is not going to be its final color. I just want to give it a base layer. So I only did one coat of the cement. I just needed a base layer. It didn't have to be complete coverage by any means. It's just three colors playing on each other with the flour sack. So I grab my heat gun right away, start drying that paint. Now milk paint sometimes and sometimes won't, will crackle, it'll crack, it'll chippy, and this horse is doing a beautiful job of that right now. That was one of my main reasons for putting the Fusion paint on top of the shellac, to see if it would crack a little bit more than what just the shellac and putting the milk paint on top of it. And I'm sure glad I did, because wow, it is getting some amazing chippiness going on. I am loving on all that chippy goodness, but I would like to see some of my colors. So some of the gray to pop through, some of the natural wood to really give it that aged look. So I'm just going in with some 220 sandpaper and just sanding. Milk paint sands so easily, so nice and smooth, but I'm just getting all those edges, all those sharp points to make it look like this was a well played with toy. After I get it nice and smooth and I get the areas detailed the way that I'd like them, I'm going to take the air compressor, just get that sanding dust the heck out of here, and then I'm going to seal this milk paint in using just a little bit of the Varathane's clear wax. Now you could go in with a darker wax if you wanted to, but I think the clear wax is going to really pop out that brown and the undertone of the Fusion's Little Lamb paint, just giving it a lot of visual details. And just by chance, I ran into the same colored wood, but in a swan. I love that bent neck. Is this not just a gorgeous hand-carved piece? And I know this dark stain will discolor my paint and make it a yellow color. So we're going to go in just like the horse and seal this in with a couple coats of shellac. Now I was really loving how that little horse turned out. I love how putting the fusion on top of the shellac and then drying that milk paint really gave that crackle. So we're going to do the same exact thing on the Swan. So there's just something about when I put the milk paint on top of the shellac to prevent that bleed through that I don't get a lot of cracking and crazings and chippiness. So this seems to be working out, but let's try a little bit bigger object to see if it'll react the same. Well, I guess that answers my question. Oh my gosh, look at that cracking that it's doing. Oh, looks like that paint's been on there forever. But I still want to see some of that wood. I want to see some of that gray. So 220 sandpaper, sanding it. There are some detailed edges on this piece that I really want to emphasize. And then just making sure that the whole entire Swan is nice and smooth. Oh my gosh, is that just not gorgeous? I just love the way that neck has crackled. But I'm going to go back in and with some of the Kohl Fusion paint, paint on his bill, paint on some eyes, so we have a little bit more of a detail to the Swan. Now just look at this long-eared bunny. It's just a resin piece, but he looks like he's smiling. Oh, so I'm going to go ahead and get him all washed up. Just some Dawn dish soap, some hot water. There's not really a lot of sanding or a lot of prep that you can do to a piece like this to get the paint to adhere. So you just want to make sure that you have it properly cleaned so there's something for your paint to stick onto. After my bunny has it thoroughly dried, I'm going in with some Dixie Belle Slick Stick. Now, the thing with Slick Stick, it is going to help bond the paint to this resin piece. Like I said previously, you can't really sand it, you can't really scuff up the surface to give something to paint to grab onto, so Slick Stick is a perfect option. So 2 coats, letting them dry in between, and then thoroughly dry for 24 hours before proceeding to paint it. So I put my second coat on and let it completely dry overnight, and now I'm going to go ahead and paint what kind of looked like baby poop to begin with. A nice chocolatey brown color. Look at this Wick from Fusion, one of their newer paints. I love working with Fusion paint. It is so nice and creamy, and it goes on just like butter on hot toast. It just is so easy to apply. Why, yes, I am going to layer my paints to see if I can get any more of an aged look. So I have Suitcase, which is almost, I mean, it's a different texture than the woodwork, but almost the same color maybe. But we'll get it mixed up and get it on and see what it does. Okay, we got nothing. No cracking, no crazing, no chippiness going on. As I said, every piece is unpredictable. Maybe because the slick, maybe because of it being resin and not wood. It's just a guesstimate. Some of the details I do like about how the milk paint kind of ran down this resin piece, it really still gives it that old-timey look. So I'm going to just sand very lightly, just any little like bumps or anything where I may not have had. It was a small batch of milk paint I mixed up for this. I don't think I got everything completely mixed up, so I've got some bumps from some chunks. I guess I need to do better, but I think it'll add character to this piece. So just very lightly, very lightly. I'm not trying to take the paint off by any means. I'm just sanding it smooth. But to bring out a lot more of those features, not only does this bunny have those long ears, but do you see those feet? Oh my goodness. So I'm going in with some Jolie's black wax. That's going to richen up this milk paint. It's going to little like hide in those little detailed crevices and just make them pop. And until I started adding this black wax, I didn't think I had any crackling going on. Ooh, I was wrong. For my wax on, wax off kind of, I really want that black to pop. I'm just taking a little of the clear wax just on a rag and just blending everything in. I don't want to take it out of those crevices. I want to leave it in there so those details, look how much that black wax has just elevated that color stuck into those crevices. Now this piece just touched my heart. If you watched my thrift haul when I showed it, you will know why. Oh my gosh, a winged cat. Oh my goodness. It's just a resin piece, but it's still, you know, that's the fun of wood acts differently, resin acts differently. It's just the fun of looking at items secondhand and like, oh, what can I create? What can I elevate this item and make it so much better? But of course, we got to get these tags removed first. Sometimes when you remove that tag, it leaves a little bit of sticky behind, so I'm just using a little lemon oil to get rid of that sticky. Now I'm just going to wipe this off the best as I can with just some Dawn dish soap, some hot water. There always seems to be like a little hole in the bottom of these type of pieces. I don't like to immerse it like in a sink or immerse it into a bucket of water because then the item itself will fill up with water on the inside. And as you can see, it's just a dirty white color. It's just not very pretty. But so I'm going to give it a nice base color, a nice primer color of just some Rust-Oleum in the flat black using the enamel paint. This kitty cat's already 100% better. Just the black itself made the details pop. So I want it to kind of look like it's a cement statue that you would have outside. That's why I'm applying the little lamb. Though I'm not going to put the chippy white paint on this piece. That's not the look I'm going for. But I am going to give it a cement look using that little lamb. So I did say I wanted this to look like a cement statue. Okay, with some age. So I'm going in with Dixie Belle's patina paint. So I'm going to start off with copper, and then after I get some of the copper applied, I'm going in with the iron. I love the two, how they play on each other. You just kind of guesstimate how you think, like, aging of the weather and the rain and all that would go on a piece. You can add as little or as much. You can go back in after it dries and add more. I just love playing with these patinas. So it always kind of looks like a hot mess while you're doing it, which it probably scares some people off, but don't be scared. You can always go back in and fix or make parts that you don't like a little bit different. As you see, for me, I just layer the iron paint right on top of the copper paint. Everything's still wet. I'm going in with some of the green patina spray, spraying the whole item, and the green will make that iron like a turquoise color and the copper a greenish color. And then we're going to go in with some of the blue patina paint or spray, and then I'm just going to kind of let it like just kind of run down those top edges, kind of like how the rain would be. So not like spraying all over necessarily like I did with the green, but just here and there with the blue, like hitting the top of the ears, the top of the wings, the top of the feet. Because I apply this when it's wet, sometimes that just runs off, and now my whole item, you can't really see the cement, but I don't care. I love it. I love it. So I'm just sealing this patina in with some weather defense. Now we're going to go back in and add a little bit of dirt, a little bit of dirt to really give it that age. So Jolie's black wax will help tone down that really brilliant turquoise color that's going on. It'll just tie this patina right with that really brightness that it turns. Just like the crackle paint, it's a little bit unpredictable of how it's going to turn out after it starts oxidizing and doing what that patina does. I normally will pass up little birdies like this, little birdies that have holes. I don't know if they're supposed to have tea lights in them or what, but I don't really want something to get like trapped inside there. So for the first time, I'm going to try a new technique. Why not? Isn't that the fun of crafting? Envisioning and thinking, hey, I wonder if I put some air dry clay on this, if I can make it look like a pottery bird. So let's see. So I'm just going to kind of guesstimate on how much I think I need. Until I roll it out, I won't know. I can add more in if I need, but I'm just going to do a generous amount. I'm going to go ahead and start working with the clay, just kind of putting it in my hands, warming it up, making it a little bit more workable before rolling it out with that little mini rolling pin. once I think I have it rolled out thin enough, but not too thin that it's going to break when I put it on. It looks like a little ghost right now. But yes, I have some detailed areas, and so I'm just going to kind of just work the clay down onto the bottom. I'll probably have to add another piece onto that bottom, but I'm just trying to get all the pieces and parts covered up. Oh my gosh, I hope this works out because this would be a game changer on a lot of items. I have it all covered up. I'm going to go back in and make sure I get the details like the beak, the tail, the eyes. I'm going to go back in with that plastic knife and really work on, I can feel the wings underneath. So I wanted to make sure that I have that emphasized just a little bit as much as I can along with the tail. I'm going to use the end of a small paintbrush and just kind of poke little holes in where the eyes should be. I let this dry for 24 hours and this is what it looks like. It's still, I can feel the coolness in the clay, so it's still not completely dry. But I do have like some cracking going on where the tail is. So really not too bad. I didn't know how much of the air dry would crack or not. So I'm going to go back in with some of that wood wick. I love this brown color. And then I'm going to mix some baking soda in with it to give it a texture paint. And that should be able to fill in any cracking that's going on and give me a nice base color to play with. So here is my inspiration. I got this little pottery bird in the bottom of an auction box. The little beak was broken off, but I thought it would be fun to layer paint on like that. I needed that texture paint. I started off with the brown as my base. Like I said, I still feel coolness, so it's still not completely cured, but I think I can proceed on painting it. So I'm going to go in with a lighter color of cashmere. I'm going to put it on and then I'm going to kind of mist it on. Now they have a completely different glazing technique and different paints for pottery, and this is what I have. So this is what we're working with. And then I'm just dabbing it. I didn't want to see brush strokes by any means, especially since that bottom layer of wood wick is mixed in with baking soda that has a texture to it. So like my inspiration bird, I didn't want to go all the way down, but I do want to smooth out that paint a little bit, and I'm just going to take my mister and just mist it a little bit. I know it's going to make some of the paint run. I think it'll really give it that handmade look. I'm going to layer some colors, but so I have to let each one of my colors dry. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Have I inspired you when you're out thrifting to look at little critters in a new way? Like, I can paint those over, I can put some clay on them. That may not have been my best paint job. That was the first time I ever tried anything like that, and then waiting for the clay to dry, waiting for the paint to dry. But I love the milk paint. I love layering it on top of fusions. It definitely gave it that crackle look that I was going for. And who doesn't love a chocolate bunny, y'all? Oh my gosh. And the cat with wings. Y'all know that I'm obsessed with patinas, and that cat looks like it's been outside for a million years. So thanks again for watching today's video. And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you are new and you're checking out this channel for the first time and you liked what you saw, smash that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know we've uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.